Welcome to Unbounded Potential's Go Beyond series with your hosts, Karen King and Selma from Radis. Our mission is to help you tap into your innate potential by providing you with cutting-edge speakers and leading-edge information.
You will receive the insights, tools, strategies, and mindset that you need to empower yourself so that you can empower others as together we empower the world.
Well, welcome everyone to our mini-series, Predictions, Forecasts, and Transformation in 2016. I'm Karen, and with my co-host Selma, we want to extend our heartfelt thanks to you for joining us. Our world has never needed more compassionate, brave dreamers and bright, perceptive souls doing great things in the world as it does now. 9 extraordinary speakers have come together in this series to inspire you to maximize the opportunity of this fresh year of 2016. They all hold the intention to help you progress forward to find truth, peace, beauty, and even opportunity and success in the midst of challenges. So are you wondering what to expect in 2016? Is it going to be scary or a huge break for us? Well, this is why we're tapping into our own resident astrologer today for some cosmic guidance on what 2016 indeed has in store for us. Today's special guest has been doing our weekly Unbounded Potential astrological forecast for years, which subscribers say, and I'm going to quote, is an appealing weekly ritual and a guilty pleasure, which is both exhilarating and comforting. Today's topic is the power of planetary planning, how to navigate the tricky aspects and make the magical most of the cosmos in 2016. So, Salma, can you tell us more about our guest today, who I understand has been on a rock hunting expedition in Arizona?
It's true.
Well, that's the thing about Hillory. She wears so many different hats. But we love calling Hillory the new fresh face of astrology because, you know, she's all about uniqueness, joy, and gratitude. You know, she helps people around the world understand their higher purpose and learn to love who they are. Now, Hillory has been a passionate student of astrology for over 20 years. I think she started when she was just a little baby, but so for the past 13 years, she has been sharing astrological information in one-on-one consultations. Now, she practices holistic astrology. Now, she looks at the whole person, including body, mind, and heart, the major players in our life, as well as the individual's horoscope, you know, in order to be of healing facilitation to that person. Now, Hillory is the author of the Astrological Guidebook to Self-Love, a handy little companion book with, you know, specific advice on self-love and care for each unique sign of the zodiac. Now, she is currently working on a children's book series, The Little Zodiac in the Universe, reminding kids that each of the planets are there to help guide and inspire them along in life. Hillory works, again, with clients on a one-to-one from across the world and writes for This Week in Astrology, a popular positive weekly forecast. And I like this one here. She does monthly horoscopes for girl.com, GURL.com, with, you know, helpful tips to keep teenage girls in touch with who they really are. And also she does a new moon report for the Heart and Soul Expansion Monthly Empower packages. Welcome to the series, Hillory Skott.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today.
Oh, we're happy to have you, Hillory.
Always excited to have you. Rock Girl? I think we're going to call you Rock Girl now.
Rock Girl. Rock on.
Well, you know what it is I'm in a place in Arizona where I'm surrounded in quartz crystal. Like, every time I walk out of the house to go on a walk, we're right with the desert, and there's, like, quartz everywhere. So I've been stuffing it in my pockets, and I'm like, I can't help it. Every time I go out, I come home with, like, a pocket full of rock, basically. But we did.
So when you go through border security there, Hillory, you're going to have to do some explanations there.
I know.
You've got a 20-pound bag there. They're going to be awfully suspicious of you.
I know, it's very odd. I'm thinking I must, like, maybe I'm supposed to do some giant rock art project that I don't know about yet, but I can't help but collect it, so it's cool.
Okay. Well, there's strong urging there.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So, Hillory, before we start in on the interview, can you perhaps do a centering exercise maybe, take us on a little trip where we can start to connect with the cosmos and feel that energy that will help us center on today's topic.
Yes, I'm just going to go to my notes here because I've been recently working with the planets, which I've been working with the planets for like 20 years now, but as I've been working on the children's book, I've been like kind of almost like connecting with them as they're each a being, like they're each kind of a guardian angel that holds different energies, because we each have each planet in our chart, right? Like it's represented somewhere. So I've kind of been connecting with them as each like guardian angels essentially for us. So each planet has a different energy to bring. So I've been working with doing meditations to connect us with that energy, and then maybe we can all embody, that part of ourselves, that specific area, to be kind of holistic and well-rounded humans. So let's do this. First, okay, we need to breathe and center ourselves. So breathe in and connect down to the earth, which we're all on, taking a ride on the earth. So breathe in and make sure that you're connected kind of through all your chakras, down through the base, down through your feet, connected to the earth, a big line of light. And then bring the earth energy up so it's connecting through you as well. And then now breathe in and imagine the sun above you, and you're connecting to the energy of the sun, which is the part of us that is our identity and our purpose. And each of us is a different sign, but we all connect. We all have an identity, and we all have a purpose to fulfill. So breathe in the warm sun. You can kind of feel like just your whole body warm up. Breathe it into your heart. Breathe it into your eyes. Breathe it into your third eye. And that warm sun. So you're connected now with your sun energy, and you can feel stronger. And then Mercury. Mercury is our next planet that we want to connect to, and it has to do with our minds and how we think and what we're communicating and how we communicate. And that's when Mercury goes retrograde, things get muddled up because its energy is going inward instead of outward. So it's an inward time. So right now we're in a very powerful Capricorn Mercury. So breathe in and imagine your throat chakra, which is where Mercury would resonate. Imagine your throat chakra lighting up and your communication becoming clear and honest, your mind becoming very clear because it has to do with your thoughts. So breathe into that powerful clarity and clear thinking, and clear communicating. So you've got that lined up in you now. Now our next planet that we want to connect with, the moon. We need to connect with the moon as well because it has to do with our feeling self. So breathe in the moon energy, which is warm and sensitive and mysterious and creative. And it's their feeling self that's like, it knows, that part of you knows when you need to sleep and you need to take care of yourself and you need to nurture yourself, or it knows what you need to eat. So breathe in that moon energy. You'll feel calm and accepting of your emotions. Now for Venus. Venus is a lovely energy too, which brings our awareness to beauty. And if you breathe Venus right into your heart, imagine the Venus energy coming into your heart. And Venus, the part of Venus in our chart has to do with how we connect with others, how we communicate in relationships with others. It's our ability to perceive value. It's our ability to kind of come from the heart and seek peace. So Venus is the peace seeker in all of us, and who doesn't want some peace? So breathe in the Venus energy, breathe in peace. Oh, and you've got that all connected inside now. Now Mars. Mars is our oomph. It's our ability to like really get something done. When Mars is like badly aspected or not working properly, we're like, we're muddled and we don't have any energy and we need to it's tricky. So if Mars is strong and you want to breathe Mars right into your solar plexus, right into the center of your being, that's where you want your power to come from. So when your Mars is strong, you can really get things done, and that's an important thing. So breathe in to your solar plexus and connect with that Mars energy inside of you. Clear and strong, focused action. Now breathe in, and then Jupiter is our that's like the obvious guardian angel, because Jupiter wants everybody to expand and grow and philosophize, and it thinks bigger, better, clearer, kind of, it can connect to amazing ideas. So the Jupiter in you connects you to your luck. It connects you to your ability to adventure and kind of get out of your box, to be able to learn, because you need to learn all the time if you're going to keep expanding in the world. So breathe into that Jupiter energy. And Jupiter is kind of like fill it up in your whole aura, because Jupiter is one of the outer planets. So it connects, like all of us are connected. It's kind of like we each have very specific planetary placements, but Jupiter and Saturn and Uranus and Neptune are kind of the outer planets. So we want to breathe those into our whole field. So Jupiter draws to you your luck, and make sure that you don't miss opportunities and synchronicities. And so connect with Jupiter. Light up your whole aura. It's a beautiful, bright yellow color. Now Saturn. Saturn gets a bad rap because it seems to come along when difficult circumstances come along. But Saturn is actually a very grounding energy, and you can actually connect Saturn right into your base chakra. And it will connect you to your stability and to your foundation and your ability to, like, stick with it. Because Jupiter's like, oh, it's so lovely and fun. But Saturn's like, well, it's lovely and fun, but how are you gonna make that work? And how is it gonna, like, fare? Is there gonna be a legacy? So you want your Saturn energy to be very strong. It'll help you make things happen in the world while you feel secure. So it's a lovely energy. And it connects you right to the earth. It's very grounded. There's Saturn with us. Now Uranus, this planet is it's exciting, and you want to, again, that's like a very mental, so you can breathe it into your third eye and also your crown chakra. It's a very opening, clarifying, and it will bring you your ideas that you need to make changes and the ability to make the changes you need without being fearful. Instead, you get to feel excited when you have to change, or excited when your world is changing, rather than fearful, which is what we often will feel. So breathe in that Uranus energy. Your mind, it's like you can feel yourself light up, like your whole electrical system is charged with the Uranus energy. And then Neptune. Neptune is a big player this year. Neptune is really, really affecting us. So breathe Neptune into, again, your whole area, like your whole aura. Imagine Neptune kind of connecting in and bringing you a lovely purple, shimmery, magical, even rainbows. Neptune is a very beautiful, soft energy. But it can also be, if you're not on track and you don't have your Saturn all grounded in, Neptune can be tricky too. So you want to tap into the positive, creative, spiritual, cosmic side of Neptune. It'll connect you to your spirit guides and all the guidance that's available. A strong Neptune is important for that. So connect into the spiritual Neptune. And then we have Pluto. So breathe into Pluto. Pluto's going to make sure that we're here to transform. It represents what your soul's path is. And it's going to always make sure that you never stagnate. So it can be tricky if you've got your heels dug in, but if you're willing to, like, get on path and step into your power, there could be no greater good than Pluto. So breathe Pluto and breathe that all through your system. Breathe it all through your chakras, up from the base, all the way through like a pillar of light. Sort of breathe it around you. And then Pluto will make you handle the big transformations that you might need to make. And you, not only does it make you handle them or help you handle them, but you handle them with, like, excitement. It's thrilling that something exciting is happening. So breathe into Pluto. So those are the planets. And now we're all connected up. And hopefully while we discuss, breathe in and surround yourself with light. Oh, the light. And then I think we're all good and connected. Should be awesome. Like, yeah. And so when we talk about the planets today, hopefully that will help us all be, a lot clearer about what we're hearing and what's going on and
I felt the effect of Mars. I'm ready to go.
Did you?
What's that song? March 500 miles. Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do that, Hillory.
Mars is a go-getter.
I know. I just felt that surge there. All right, we're talking here. All right, Hillory, before we're going to get very specific what you're seeing here, but share for us some of the major planetary happenings in 2016. Now, I guess the big question, does the terrain look a heck of a lot easier than it did in 2015?
It actually does. It does.
Yeah.
It's very different. It's a very different set of energy because we were very much under the Pluto-Uranus square last year. So there's a lot of maybe changes that people didn't want to make that they had to make anyway going on. Just a lot of kind of like sudden changes that then you're all of a sudden having to integrate, which could be painful for some people. And possible losses. But this year, it's different. This year, it's not as is overtly dramatic in what might be painful or difficult. But there's a really beautiful energy. Well, I mean, there's different ways to look at it. There's a Pluto, or there's a Saturn-Neptune. This is our big planetary happening this year between Saturn and Neptune. It's a square. So it's kind of bringing in like the light worker energy. Neptune is like the ruler of like the spiritual and the cosmic and the healing, blissful, kind of amazing, loving energies. And Saturn is the get down and do it energy. So it's like it's strict, it's disciplined, and they're very different energy. So they're connecting in a powerful way right now. And it can be very difficult if you're not willing to step it up, if you're not willing to step in and do the work that Saturn is requiring. Then the Neptune stuff can get difficult. You might have problems with addictions, or you might being deceived in some way. If you're deceiving yourself, then likelihood there's deception around you. And Neptune kind of rules that as well. So it's important this year, if you have some sort of dream, some sort of thing that you've been wanting to make happen in the world, that you work on it. And you should be able to work on it with the way that the Saturn is there kind of bolstering you, and Neptune is there like going, this is the vision, let's do something. So it's a softer, kinder, like slowly progressing year in a sense because of that, I think. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It does. And so would this apply to everybody, Hillory, or certain people more than any others?
Yes. Well, because we all have it in different parts of our chart, right? So some people are more specifically, like if you have Saturn or Neptune kind of activated in your own chart, then you'll definitely be more tied into it than someone who doesn't. Like we all have them there, so we'll all be affected, like kind of, overall. We'll see it collectively too, but if you have it in your chart activated, then of course it'll be much stronger. There'll be a much more kind of urgency to the things that I'm talking about.
Okay.
So there's that. There's there's so much. It's hard to kind of squeeze it all down to the most important stuff because there's always so many things. Like the eclipses are really important, and they're happening in mutable signs. So it's like a year of change. Like we're now certain of the change we want to make, and now we can get our resources all rolling in the right direction. So by next year, I think any kind of major transformations will be obvious for everybody. Everyone will see the work that they've done in this year manifest in next year. So it's kind of, if you can take the patient and slowly changing road, then you'll be really peaceful and life will be kind of gentle with you as the changes happen. But if you don't want to change and you don't want to make your dreams come true, like if you don't want to activate all of this energy, then that's when the planets sort of activate you. So if you don't take the nudge, you'll get the shove kind of thing. So
I don't need the shove.
Nobody needs a shove. Nobody needs
a shove.
It's better to just kind of listen. And we all know inside of us what we need to do, essentially, right? We all have the inner urging to make a move or to do something different, and if we don't follow it, then life will, then suddenly somebody leaves you or you lose a job or something like that, right? To get you rolling in the right direction. So it's always better to lean into it, I think, and to make the changes. And with the mutable signs like Pisces and Virgo, the eclipses are especially adaptable and changeable. So it shouldn't be hard for us to change. Even Taurus should be able to change this year. Taurus people can be so stubborn, but even everybody should be able to do it.
Okay. When are those eclipses happening?
Sorry?
I was going to ask when those eclipses are happening this year.
In March and September are the major ones. And they say with the eclipses that they're kind of like portals or doorways. So they're kind of like they're part of what helps keep us along in our evolution. And so it's like going through a door where nothing is ever the same after the eclipse for everybody, right? We all have it on some level in our, like, we all experience in some way. Some people's changes are much bigger, or like, and eclipses often will have weather events attached to them too, which is really interesting.
Major snowstorm.
Okay, Hillory, I got to ask the question about Jupiter. This is the generous planet of wealth and wisdom. What happened with the Powerball? You know, I'm waiting for that $1.5 billion. I thought lucky Jupiter is going to be assisting me this year, Hillory. What went wrong there?
Well, Jupiter it's in Virgo for one thing, so it's not going to be flashy. It's not going to be flashy this year at all. What Jupiter is helping expand for us this year, because Jupiter, it is lucky, but it's also expands things, so it grows situations. So it can grow unlucky situations too. Actually, it's not entirely lucky. Like, actually, Jupiter is considered one of the angels of death, so it's often active in death charts. People, like, you can see it like in a major position in a death chart. Like for David Bowie's, I believe he just died, and it was on an important, I think it was on his south node, which is a major kind of obvious exit. So it can usher, but at the same time, it would indicate a lucky transfer, a lucky crossing over if Jupiter was active in your chart. So who knows what he went to? Like, we can't perceive it, right? So, but with Virgo, Jupiter being in Virgo until September, this is our basically a collective opportunity to heal, to be able to expand our awareness of what we each need to be healthy and be organized and be, have all of our ducks in a row. Like, Virgo is very detailed and very capable of like finding even the finest flaws. So you might be, maybe every morning you put a certain kind of creamer in your coffee, and you've done it for years, and you're just going to keep doing it because you don't really think about it because that's the creamer you use. Well, Virgo will come along and be like, that creamer has hydrogenated vegetable oil in it, and that's probably not good for you long term. So you'll suddenly become aware, oh my God, I shouldn't eat this. And so it'll help you with these tiny little details. It will help you kind of bolster your immune system, bolster your energetic system, ground you better to the earth. It's very practical. So sorry that it's probably not going to be a year of like flashy lotto winnings for all of us, but at the same time, it could be a very lucky year through changes that you make in your routines and in your health, the things you do for your health and the things you have around you, how your environment is organized. So also writing, like any kind of, Virgo is very good at communicating through the written word and the spoken word. So if you have writing projects that you need to do, you would be so good at doing that this year. Like, you'd be able to really like do a very fine and thorough job of it. So, like, yeah, Jupiter's not in his best location. He's in a difficult, Virgo's like, is no party for Jupiter, but together they're making us healthier humans. So that's good too.
It is.
Mhm.
So there seems to be a big
straight.
Pardon? Selma?
I'm just saying, I'm glad she set me straight about Jupiter.
You can save your money on those lottery tickets.
Yeah.
That's great.
You could like invest in like
on myself in different ways. Change. No, that was great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Little things, like apple cider vinegar. Like, get some of that.
Yeah, lemon water.
Lemon water. How easy?
There you go. Where
I am in Arizona, lemons are growing everywhere. Like, there's lemon trees and orange trees and grapefruit trees, and they're just everywhere. And I'm like, everyone should have a lemon tree. Like, so you can go and get your morning lemon. So awesome.
I have one, but it's not doing well.
Oh, because it's cold where you are, right?
I know. Well, it's in the house, too. So anyway. There's a big paradox of 2016 as well. Sirius structured Saturn, the planet of restriction, spends the entire year in free-spirited, globe-trotting Sagittarius, the sign of expansion. Talk about this mixed message.
Yeah, it is.
And how Saturn in Sagittarius affects us this year in a greater, more meaningful way.
Well, it's kind of a powerful place for Saturn to be. It's like Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. So Sag is very, they're honest and adventurous and philosophical and truth-seeking. So it's a very, I really like Sagittarian energy. My daughter is a Sagittarius. So it's a very, like, aiming for the stars kind of energy. And Saturn is like, no, let's get the structure in place. It's kind of, again, tying in, like, with the Neptune, the square, it ties into that. So, those energies aren't very similar. It is a mix, you're right, it is a paradox, because in one way, we're expanding, but we're also grounding and expanding at the same time. So it can be done, it's being done, but it could be, like, it could cause confusion, like a start and stop feeling. Like, oh, I'm going, and then no,
and
I'm
then
not
boom.
going. Yeah, I'm not going. Now I'm doing something like mundane that's very, it's like, like you got to do the dishes and you got to like sweep and like it'll keep bringing you back down when you want to go up. So at the same time, if you can kind of accept that you're learning how to do that, it's not so bad, right? It's kind of good to learn that. But it's a maturing, essentially. Saturn is kind of maturing the Sagittarian energy. So I imagine all the Sagittarians of the world right now are going through a big time growing up, like a big...
Oh, hallelujah.
Yeah, hallelujah. There's going to be like a lot of responsibility, like an understanding of responsibility and stepping up and commitment and all the things that Saturn is really good at. They're going to have to learn to be good at it too. Because those are the things that you need to move forward to be successful. If you don't have those... the work ethic in place, then you're never going to get anywhere. But also with the Saturn in Sagittarius, it's going to be like on a global kind of scale, like belief systems. Like I imagine religion in like any kind of belief system is going to be broken down in some way. Like I think that our beliefs are becoming a lot more individualistic and big structures and systems that are trying to keep us contained are going to not work anymore. They're all going to kind of break apart, I think. So we'll see like people questioning the rules of religion and all kinds of truth being exposed about institutions and structures that we all kind of blindly follow without questioning. That's kind of the Sagittarian influence mixing in with Saturn. And then we also have Pluto in Capricorn. And that's a big deal, too. Like, it's sort of, Pluto's making us transform whether we like it or not. So it's okay if you, like, I'm stepping into my power and I'm going to own my Pluto energy. It's okay if you do that, but if you don't, Pluto can be really hard on you. So when people are like, oh, this is happening and that's happening and this is happening, it's often, like, because they're resisting some sort of forward movement in a way. So it's easy to kind of take more control of your circumstances by kind of going with it if you can. Like do it differently or you must be getting a new idea or new ways of like moving. The boundaries kind of with the Saturn and Neptune, our boundaries are all kind of fuzzy now in order that new kind of containers for our energy and our lives can come into focus. So there is a really, important higher purpose to it for sure.
I want to just ask you this here too, Hillory. I know in one of your, your weekly messages and stuff like that, you talked about Wayne Dyer. What did you see something in his charts at all? Because like I know he was getting, getting older and everything else there too. But was there anything
not really.
in his
He wasn't
chart?
that old.
Well, I think it was 75.
Yeah, 75. That's not very old.
Yeah,
that's not. But was there anything? Did you sense anything at all in his chart or?
Well, I looked at his chart actually. I was like, when I found out Wayne Dyer died, I was like so sad. I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize how connected to him I was. Like, that I really learned from him. I loved listening to his audios. Like, I learned so many things from him that made me feel, he was like my Saturn energy. Like, he was wise and grounded. And I was shocked that he died, because I imagined he would be in my life till in his 90s, like, at least, right? But, you know, he did have like an illness or like he talked about being diagnosed with leukemia. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
So that shows up in his chart, but his chart, I think that it was sort of a sudden exit, that he was feeling good, that he wasn't feeling bad, and that he didn't want to feel bad at any point. And so he was leaving at a perfect time. He left with his, like, health intact, essentially. You know, like, he just gotten back a couple of days before he died from a trip to Australia that he'd done with a couple of his daughters, like a 3-week, you know, doing talks and going around working. And so he wasn't, like, you know, withering away in a hospital bed or anything like that. He was very strong. Have you ever heard, like, the Abraham Hicks spirits talk about, like, we've just sort of been brainwashed to think that we should become decrepit and die, that we could actually be happy, like happy, healthy, dead. So I think that that's kind of what he did, essentially. Because he did recover from the leukemia. Like, he stopped.
He had gone to John of God. How do you know?
And he refused anymore. Like, he decided not to bother checking his blood all the time and everything that the doctors wanted him to do, because it didn't help him in any way, right? And then the John of God healing happened. So I think that he left at a time when he was, like, actually really good. I was just shocked. I couldn't believe that he left.
All were. Yeah,
but thank goodness, like, I can go and put those, you know, I can listen to him talk still, and I have his books. Like, he's still there.
I have all his books too,
I can still feel him there, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But he did have, like, it only looked good. Like, there was no, like, it wasn't a hard transition. It was like a quick decision, I think. From the chart. I mean, you can tell, like, David Bowie's chart, there was, I think that he had a really long, slow, difficult struggle based on the kind of the Pluto, everything that was going on. Then he, of course, expresses it, too. You can watch his videos and stuff, and that was, like, more of the dark, difficult side of dying. The kind of refusing to die kind of side of dying, you know? Which I think would be hard.
Heart attack or something months before that,
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, 6 heart attacks, I think he was, you know, a couple of months before that. So
really? Yeah. So he was very aware of what was going on.
I think he was.
I even sort of wonder if he, like, I mean, there's no way of knowing, probably no one would ever release this, but with the timing of the release of his last album right after his birthday and then he died, I wonder if it was like an assisted suicide sort of situation.
Not sure.
But
you know, when you do a chart, I think the British have something called forewarned is forearmed. You know, does that mean that, you know, it's good to have our charts done because, you know, it just gives you some information, something to go by. And like I say, you look at the holistic picture of a person, right? So there are things that you could advocate for that person, where it's vitamins or this or that or what they need to do. And
yes, I you know, that is a big part of what I do, because I can see kind of the psyche of the person and also the possible influences that are coming in, like in a general kind of, you know, because you know if there's a Saturn transit, then you might be feeling feelings of sadness or loss. You can see the emotional psyche through the chart, but then I can also tell what someone might need, like specific vitamins that they might need. And there's a way of looking to see there's a cell salts, which are like a homeopathic medicine that are just made up of basically like tissue salts that we all have in our bodies. We're all made up of these. And each sign has a specific need for the opposite sign's tissue salt. So it's really quite easy to take these little homeopathic pills and they balance out your cellular health. So there's all kinds of things that you can see in the chart that really, their health, what people need to do to, like, physically keep their energy properly channeled. Like if someone has a lot of Aquarius or Uranus, they can have like nervous disabilities, like be really anxious and stuff. But if they only, you know, walked 20 minutes a day, it would ground the energy and keep it moving. So there's so many things you can see in a person's chart. What they should be doing for leisure time even can turn up in the book. Who they should connect with, what kind of friends you're best suited to. But also like what's coming. Like you know, when there's major transits with Saturn, people, it's a hard thing to go through. And knowing, oh, well, there's a major transit with Saturn, there's something really comforting, like kind of guiding you. Okay, well, this is when we learn about this difficult thing. But it's just a thing, and it's going to pass, and we're going to come out wiser because we learned about how to handle Saturn, or we learned about loss. Or so it's none. I would never say there's doom and gloom. I never see it like that. It's always just sort of the person's path. You can kind of see the path unfolding. It's very interesting. It's fascinating. I've been studying it for 20 years. I just can't stop.
And you're so passionate about it too. I can just hear that in your voice. Absolutely.
It's just so fascinating to me.
And for you know, and lucky for us that you're going to be doing a special offer for our audience member. It's a private personal consultation that, you know, it's going to help people understand their year ahead, and you know, and then, you know, accelerate their, you know, personal transformation, you know, based on their chart. And so this is going to be, you know, either a Skype or a phone conversation, and then you record it, right? And you give it back to the producer.
Yeah, I email them their reading.
No, that's great, and that's for $179. And you know what I like it. You look at it, you know, holistically, right?
Mm-hmm. There's so much to learn. There's really, like, you could talk about someone's chart with them every week for the rest of their lives, and you'd still be learning things about the chart and the person and how it connects, and it's very fascinating.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to ask that question. Is this like once and you're done? But obviously not.
No, because everything's changing.
Exactly, and the positions are changing, and people are changing, and right? Mm-hmm. So even though you do their chart, it's because of what's happening at this moment. Do you see the past?
Well, yeah,
I'm not quite sure how that'll work.
When I look at the chart, I see the natal chart, so that's a flash of the planets where everything was when the person is born. So they say that you're kind of like imbued with the energies. It's like a blueprint for your life. Basically, it's exactly the perfect way to describe it. Here's your blueprint, and the tricky part is how many people can read the blueprint. Not very many, unfortunately. Right. Otherwise, we could all be like figuring so much out so much faster. But here's the blueprint, and then you can actually see with the transits as well what's being triggered, what's being activated, what areas of life they're learning in at that time, what they're meant to be learning, but also kind of a much bigger picture, as in like, well, this is what your soul incarnated to learn about. So kind of the broader picture of your soul's lessons and what your soul wants to learn and what you're here to offer, like what your gifts are to offer, and then also what your kind of, you know, your tricky lessons are to learn as well. So there's like how you might be sabotaging yourself. Like you can see, depending where everything is laid out in the chart and how they all connect through aspects, you can see just like endless information about a person. It's very fascinating. And I think very helpful. Like I don't know what I would have done without astrology in so many circumstances, just because it made me understand. And that was it. Like just through understanding, I could accept and I could like move on, or I could integrate, or I could also try to change my behavior. Like if my behavior was self-sabotaging, the astrology pointed it out. Oh, this is where you're like sabotaging yourself, and this is how you're doing it. And you got to stop doing that, because sabotage is so sneaky, right? Like you don't even realize this little action you do could be like really screwing up your career or like your relationships or whatever. So you can kind of get an insight that you might not otherwise have. I find it very good when people have a lot of subconscious material that's not coming out very easily. It comes in handy.
Fascinating.
And Christopher from New York says this about you, Hillory. She's saying, Hillory Skott is such a pleasure to play with, and that's exactly true. Her lightness and sweetness is such a joy. And, you know, and more than that, the honesty, the authenticity, and the openness that she speaks from is as refreshing as it is powerful. I so enjoy talking with her at length about my chart and about what's presenting in my life now, what I'd like to experience. Talking with her immediately felt as comfortable and fun as speaking to a close friend. Hillory explained the alignments in my chart in most understandable terms, and I am just blown away at how my past and present were so clearly shown by all the planetary positions. What an adventure. So,
yay!
So
it is nice. Like playing. It's exciting because, like,
it is. Well, we can hear it in your voice, and you know, you love what you do here, and you are we've known you for a long time, and you are a true gem.
Aw. Thank you, guys.
So you've got a special, and so that's $179, and for a 1-hour reading, and there's lots of things going on there. So
right. So if you're on the unboundedpotential.com/now page, just click on the purple View Special Offer button, which will take you to Hillory's special offer page, and you can read more about it there. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Are we ready to take questions?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. If you're on the phone, please press *2, and we'll also be taking questions from the submission box. Now, we have taken the liberty of giving Hillory a few questions that came in prior to the call. So do you want to start with maybe one of those, Hillory, and then I'll take a phone call?
Yes, let me just see here. I've got June Kim from Los Angeles.
Okay.
I'm going to look. She's like, should I read her question out, or should I just keep that to my... Oh, no, it's okay if I read it out, right?
Sure it is, yeah.
Okay. I'm experiencing a Jupiter and Saturn return. I was let go from my position and would like to know how to navigate a new career and develop better management skills for money and time while opening up deeper to my energy work and poetry. Oh, and taking care of my health. Very low energy issues. What is draining and why am I not absorbing protein? How's that? Too much. No, it's not too much. It's perfect. So I'm looking at June's chart here. Hello, June. Thank you for sending your question in. So she has a lot going on. See, can you imagine? That's big changes, right? She's let go from work.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal. So I'm just having a look here to see what she has activated. Her sun is in Capricorn. So that's her moon is in Capricorn. Okay, so June she's a changing. Changes are happening. Her sun is in Cancer and her moon is in Capricorn. And Pluto is in Capricorn right now. So Pluto is, all the Capricorns of the world are going through a deep, deep transformation and a deep kind of stepping into their power. So it's a slow process. It goes from like 2008 to 2025, I think, or 26.
Wow.
So it kind of goes back and forth and like a little bit forward and a little bit back, which is probably better for everybody because then you can integrate what you're learning. So that's really being activated for you. There's like, and it's not quite hit yet, so it's coming in. You're going through a very big, what your life was before is not going to be what it's turning into now. So you're going through a definite transformation in energy. And your tiredness, see, this is very tricky. So, okay, so you have a 12th house that is lit up. The 12th house is the subconscious, kind of the part of us that's connected to the cosmos. It can be where we go into retreat or where we're very reclusive and secretive about what's going on. Often people in jail or monks or people isolated from society will have a very busy 12th house. And June actually does. She has Mercury, Uranus, Mars, and Venus all in this 12th house. Many of them in Leo. So there's a part of her, and the only way it gets out is through Neptune. So that's the poetry that I think she's talking about. This poetry part of her is in the 3rd house. The 3rd house is where she communicates. So basically what's happening is all the subconscious planets that are stuck and isolated in the 12th house are coming out kind of into where she communicates. She needs to open up her communication. So managing her time and money is one thing, but also opening her like ability to share what she sees and feels and knows. And it's going to be very poetic and beautiful. Like there's going to be a mysterious sort of cosmic energy coming through to her there. It's quite powerful. I wouldn't be surprised if that maybe she actually could channel, like she was a channeler and bringing through spirit guides and things like that very clearly. It looks like it's connected to what her work should be. So I really have no idea what her work is, except that there must be something to do with management. So you naturally, having your Capricorn moon, will be able to manage. Like that's kind of in their nature. And there's also Cancer. It's a very cardinal energy. So being the boss is natural to you, but this is the tricky part to negotiate for you because your energy is being zapped by such a strongly active Neptune. Because Neptune is the sleepy napper. Neptune wants you to relax and dream and like you need to reflect and lie there and stare at the stars and especially nap. Like napping is very important when you have strong Neptune, because if your energies get too low, you'll start to get sick. So like sort of integrating this resting lifestyle is really important for you to access this other working part of yourself, if that makes sense. And I'm not talking to June, so I can't like see how it works.
Well, maybe
for her.
June's on the line and she can, maybe she could write into us if she's listening.
And see if that makes sense.
Yeah, but you've given her some really good points.
Yeah, like the management is already there, but I think it needs to come through rest. Because there's another part of her that's very, like, it's the Saturn is connecting through. So if it's not activating, oh, no, it should be. She's probably a fantastic manager. She's probably, like, awesome at it, but then feels guilty because she needs naps. She'll be like, I'm not productive enough. I need to be more productive. But really, you need your naps. So you should really be more, like, sensitive and loving to yourself is what you need. Okay. So if she sends in questions, that would be great.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything come in yet. But in the meantime, can we take a telephone caller?
Sure.
All right.
So then I'll just enter the info as they give it to me in this situation.
Sure. We have area code 760 on the line. It looks like California. You could tell us your name and your or your birth date, I guess, for Hillory.
Jacqueline Slazak.
Hi, Jacqueline.
Hello, Jacqueline.
My birth date is December 25th, 1950.
You're a Christmas baby. Poor you.
I know.
Yeah.
1950?
1950, yes.
Okay, do you have your time?
Yes, 12:03. Or 12:03.
Noon?
No, in the morning.
AM, okay. So that would be 0:03. And where were you born?
Sudbury, Ontario, Canada.
Ah, Canadian.
Well, look at that.
Fellow Canadian.
Yeah, Canuck.
But you managed to get yourself to LA, and so you have nice weather.
Oh, well, I'm married to an American.
Smart.
I'm a legal alien.
Are you? How's that working out for you?
Wonderful.
Good.
How's that working out for you, eh?
I imagine you really, I bet you just love the sun, hey?
I do.
Yeah, that's lucky. Okay, what is your question for me?
I just wanted to, I guess, know about mostly physical. Seems to be my challenges are in two areas, physical, but I'm doing much better, and also in reconnecting to my abilities, my metaphysical abilities, which seem to have gone dormant over the past 4 or 5 years.
Okay. So you are Capricorn. So you've been going through, where's your Capricorn? 2 degrees. So around 2008, did you start going through some major changes?
I've been going through changes for about 30 years.
Okay, so you're one of those people, constantly changing. So in 2008, Pluto entered, Pluto would have been conjunct your sun at that time. So that's when Pluto crosses our sun, we become more able to step into our power, kind of. Like, it's clearing the decks for everything that is getting in the way of you being who you really are. So that is going on continuously until actually, in the next year or two that will slow down. So do you feel like in any way you've been kind of transforming over, like it would hit your identity, like who you are in the world. It's also hitting your relationships kind of right now. It's like lined right up. Pluto and Mercury are hitting into your chart where your relationships and where your thinking is as well. So it's transforming those areas of your life. Can you feel that?
Well, yeah, everything is constantly transforming, and I do a lot of work on that because I want to have an awakening. I'm ready for it. But I have been struggling with health since back in the 80s.
Okay.
And I am in better shape right now than I've ever been, but I feel like I've got Pericles' sword hanging over my head that, one wrong step and I'm going to go catapulting back. And since, 2008 was probably when I was moving out of energy work or was just closing down, and I've been on silent mode since that point. I mean, literally, I can tune into my higher self, but it's clarity is not big. But yes, there has been transformation. Yes, my personality is different. I'm a lot just changes, but all subtle. But health changes, not really so much. Physical changes, not so much.
Well, it's happening. It's happening like where the change is. It's your fourth house, so that's your house. Like that's also your roots, like where you come from, your family, also your subconscious is recognized in that spot, and those planets are also being opposed by planets in your 10th house, so that it's like a either or, this or that kind of thing. You probably are feeling a pull and then a pulling back and a pull. Like there's always two ways you could go. Do you experience that?
Not to any huge degree. I've had conflicts. I have a very strange family. But again, I live a long way away, so it's okay. My dad died. My mom is elderly, but again, nothing. The tug and pull, not so much anymore. No. Things are pretty consistent. I'm pretty happy. I just want to, I just want this physical well-being. I want this fifth dimensional optimal form at whatever that looks like.
You want to feel you're stronger. You want to feel strong.
I want to feel my divinity within this form, and I'm not quite there. So anything you can give me to help with that.
Well, I'm thinking that your Neptune, your loss of energy, you've got Neptune square Venus, Mercury, the moon. So I'm thinking that probably coming through, you said you stopped your energy, like were you doing it professionally? Your energy work?
Yes, I was doing it professionally, and I was also doing, when that ended, I was doing universal healing work, working on the planet with another person who's passed on, and then all of that just went silent, and basically I've just been muddling along. I'm happy, but I know there's more. I mean, my knowing knows it. I just don't know what I know.
But
I want to know what I know.
You said you're getting stronger, right? Like Neptune just crossed it's in your sixth house of health right now. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm in the best health I've been in 30 years.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a blessing. It's like a blessing energy coming through. So maybe that specific. Especially as it crossed over Jupiter, it would like be ushering in a different energy. I'm sort of wondering, with all that squaring Neptune is the part of us that is conscious of like our spirit guides and our connection to the universe, and like light workers, people who visualize light and work with light, all have very strong Neptunes, and you do, and they're squaring your other planets. So, and they're in Capricorn. So I'm wondering if on some level your work with the non-physical world, the non-physical energies, were somehow undermining your very strong earthy energy, because you have a very strong earthy energy. You've got 3 Capricorn planets. So Capricorn is good at like being the boss and leading the show and having a vision for the future and laying the foundation. It's very good at all that. But the Neptune and the Saturn, this is very prominent. The big thing that's going on in the cosmos now between Saturn and Neptune is also in your own chart. So it's going to be activated for you very strongly. So I think on some level you might be needing to, like you may have had to go silent to gain your strength again, to ground yourself out, if that makes any sense.
Well, yeah, but it's been a long silence, and
it's been since, like you said, and
again, my knowing knows what it knows, but I have no conscious third-dimensional personality experience of it, and that's what I'm doing here. I mean, I know I can leave and know everything, but I want to know as Jacqueline, and that's sort of not happening. I don't have an experience of my guides. I don't have an experience of my higher self. I don't have any physical experience of anything, just the knowing.
Wow.
And it's really, and that knowing served me when I did the universal work. But at this point, I'm here to be an experience.
Right.
So.
Well, you are, like, ultimately you are experiencing knowing. That's a pretty big thing to know. Like, knowing is, like, top notch as far as getting guidance, right? When you know something. But you want, are you saying, because you have your Mercury in Capricorn, so that's how your Mercury is how you would process what you learn from the kind of non-physical world, right? And Capricorn's very pragmatic. It's like a thinking kind of energy. And so knowing makes sense that you would know. Like, oh, I just know that. So integrating, like, what do you want? Do you want to see guides? Do you want to hear them? What is your...
Yeah, I want to have physical not third dimension, but physical experiences of the knowing, rather than just, like, I know everything's okay. I know that, that the universe is there, and but I have nothing in my ego self, my third dimensional or my personality self that has any experience of it. I see nothing, I feel nothing, I know nothing in that mental realm, and I want to bring the higher knowing, which is kind of esoteric, into the third, into my mental realm, into my conscious realm, I should see. Again, the knowing exists at a level that does not go conscious, and the experience does not go conscious. And at this point in my life, there's no sense in being here if I can't have conscious experiences of this stuff.
Yeah,
knowing I can have at any level. Like, I can go back up to where I came from and have knowing.
But you are conscious of your knowing, right?
Yes. I'm conscious that it exists. Well, I've had, again, when I did the work, and I can't deny that it's there, and I can douse and check and get answers.
Right.
But am I 100% certain of the clarity of it? No. I don't have that. I don't have that security with that I used to have. There was no question of it when I did the work. I mean, It was bizarre, but I just, I'm a pragmatic mathematician, but it didn't matter. I mean, I just trusted it because it was so clear. But now it's not clear. I don't have that kind of feeling. I know at the level that I know, but I don't have the conscious certainty of it anymore.
That's it's very kind of, even what you're explaining is very Saturn Neptune. Like, you're like kind of describing how tricky it all is. It is tricky, like, because I kind of understand what you're saying, and I can see in your chart, I think, what, like, you're articulating an aspect in your chart which is really interesting from between Neptune and Mercury. But I don't know, like, what, like, the only way you have to engage spirit, essentially. You have to engage your higher self. Are you doing that? Are you engaging? And then you get nothing?
Well, again, I have to douse because I can't get I can't get it outside of dowsing answers. So it depends on. I have to be very accurate with my dowsing questions, and that's not the way I want to do it. It's
how do you want to do it?
It's not the way I did do it. Pardon?
How do you want to do it?
I want to do it by the way I used to, which is knowing. Just, the knowing comes through. The information comes through. There's a flow. There's an understanding, and it, comes. I mean, things used to just come out of my mouth, and I knew they were true.
And now they're blocked.
Even if I didn't have a frame of reference to really understand what I was talking about, I knew it was true. I don't have that now. I have the dows, and I'm always kind of, is that the right answer? Because did I have the right question? Like, it's just, I want the flow to come through.
Because can I just interject for a moment? Because I think we all as light workers go through this, where there is a part of knowing and then not quite sure, and knowing and not quite sure. And I really truly believe it's part of the path. I really do.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because I feel the same thing. Like, half the stuff I say, I'm like, fingers crossed. I'm not sure if it's right or not, but I'm going to say it. I know,
but I do this all the time. And, there are certain moments that I absolutely know, and then I question, I doubt. But, I think it's all part of this path that we as light workers are on, and I don't know if we should be questioning it as much as just accepting it. That's kind of my thought.
I think that makes, I totally agree with you, because and also you're using, like, dowsing to douse, and you want to do it another way. Like, I use, like, a chart, right? I look at your chart, and then I get ideas, and who knows if they're right, but they're coming to me, and I'm communicating them to me, and hopefully, it means something to you. But at the same time, I don't know if it gets clearer when you're working. Like, I mean, you said you experienced when you just knew, right? Did you just know in relation to yourself, or was it when you were working with other people?
It was both. I mean,
Both.
everything was just so clear. I mean, when I worked universally, I was working outside of even conscious frameworks, but the certainty was so, it was, and again, I went from 0 to that and then back to 0 again. It was kind of like, oh.
And then
if I didn't know what I had once, I probably wouldn't be missing it now. But and again, I'm willing to accept that, as you said, that there could be something different, and I've been open to that. But this has been a long haul.
Yeah. Well,
there is change coming. Yeah.
It's 2016, and I was just looking to see if there was anything in the chart that showed that maybe this year something would change.
You know what? I'll tell you, there is some big movements in important parts. Jupiter is in your 12th house right now with the node. So the node is kind of what we're all evolving towards, like wherever the node is in the chart. And it's about to cross your ascendant. So, and your ascendant is in the last degrees of Virgo. So are you aware of your chart at all?
No.
No, okay. So Virgo is like the sign that's most concerned with health and physical, like the little details of your health that you need to take care of to strengthen yourself. Also your organization. Are you organized? Are you a very orderly person?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. You've got like 3 Capricorn planets and a Cancer moon. It's probably like cozy and organized in your house.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you have Saturn on the ascendant. So I think probably that Saturn makes you like incredibly hard on yourself, probably. You're probably like really, and also you're an incredible example to other people of how to work really hard. Like you probably like can show people just by being yourself how hard things can be. You probably like it hard, actually. On some level, you're probably like, I like it hard. If it's hard, then I know it's good, and I'm making it happen.
Well, I think I was like that, but I don't so much anymore.
You've changed. That's good because that's also the Neptune energy is very gentle and sweet and dreamy but also an energy sucker. Like if you're not being very careful with your energy when you've got Neptune activated, it'll drain your life force. Also, you would be very sensitive to people. Like with all this Neptune square, you pick up energy from people very easily. So you have to be careful of who you're around and be careful, like even when you go to the store, that you do your grounding and protective, like put on some light and then go into the store. And then when you get out of the store, kind of vacuum anybody's energy out of your system. You're like a sponge essentially. But it's very paradoxical because your other energy is very like a rock. So you're like a rock and a sponge, basically, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So well, yeah, again, and I used to be totally empathic when I was a child. So,
right.
I'm not anymore in a conscious sense. I was totally consciously empathic and saw light beings and everything. But, I don't have any of that now.
So you're longing for that.
Well, I'm longing for the human connection to the things that, again, and if I had never experienced them in this lifetime and it was just past life experience, there'd be some kind of subconscious little twiggle in there, but it wouldn't be. Right. It wouldn't be such a push because I've had it in this lifetime, and I'm told I was told that I was going to go silent, but I was told that it was going to come back, and I'm just going, okay, isn't it time to come back?
Well, Capricorns are like a master of like one of their great lessons is being patient. Patience.
Well, I have been.
Yeah,
I am, and I'm not.
And you will continue to be because it's just in your nature. But with Jupiter, I think as Jupiter went through your 12th house in Virgo, that's where the strength in your health came. I think like your health probably, and it will continue to improve. And then it's going to cross over the ascendant very soon, like in the next probably like August. It'll hit over your ascendant. So if there's work to do and you're clear about what your work is, I would that would be a time to begin and to engage in actual work. Because there's going to be, like with the Neptune, very strong in your chart, which is the part of you that is all connected to the spiritual realm. And then Saturn, also very strong in your chart, is the part of you that's grounded on the earth to make things real. That's going to be strengthened. Your Saturn is going to be strengthened by Neptune, or by Jupiter crossing over, and then your Neptune self can show you the way, it'll show you the magic kind of thing. But there's work involved, so which I'm sure you're fantastic at working ultimately, right?
I'm just ready for a little more magic and miracles, because I am magic and miracles. I know that, right. I understand that, but I just am ready for the experience of it. But you don't see anything in health issues outside of this ongoing
well, just that
meeting.
Jupiter was in a position that would have strengthened you, and so is Neptune, both moving along, kind of maybe spiritualizing the physical problems. I think Neptune was probably doing. But then Jupiter, it is very significant that it's crossing over your ascendant in August or so. That's a significant, you're going to feel that in your life in lucky, expansive type of ways. But I don't know what kind of magic, you kind of got to request your magic, right? Are you clear, is it just that you have no clarity?
I don't have, I don't have the clarity. I'm 65, but I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I just don't have the clarity about how to direct anything. So I just sort of guide myself from moment to moment. I live in the now, and I don't worry about tomorrow because I have no concept of, which direction to go. So I have a great life. I'm happy, and I have a great life.
And Hillory is giving you some good points for today too.
Kind of and I think I've taken up enough time. I feel bad.
No. Oh, but I think there's even though the magic, you want the magic, call in the magic with the work. Do the work. I don't know what that means, but you just got to do the work, and then it'll all bloom in the magic.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
that sounds
good. I do the work.
Okay, keep doing the work, Jacqueline.
That's right. Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for spending so much time. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. Blessings.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We've got so many questions, and oh my goodness. Okay, let's go to the dashboard. What have you got there, Hillory?
The dashboard. What dashboard am I? Is this on Skype that I see the dashboard?
No, the ones that I sent you earlier.
Oh, okay, yes.
Question.
I have those. Let's see.
Yeah.
Why
Can
don't
you choose
we
one? Yeah.
Yep. Let us do Katie. Born in Boston. She's in Colorado. Just going to pull up her chart. Katie. Sorry, I'm just oh, there it is. Okay, go. And her questions. I'll read out her question as well?
Sure.
Yep.
With both of us in agreement, my live-in partner moved out this morning with a full load of belongings and furniture to his new apartment and job, which is 4+ hours away. I have every emotion stirring within me, from excitement for new beginnings, sadness, grief, relief, and the unknown. Is there any light that you can shed from my chart as to the doors to open and a new life beginning? Thank you and love to you. Love to you, Katie. Okay, let's see her chart here. Well, obviously there's new stuff happening because the partner moved out. Let's just see here. Capricorn. So there's probably a lot of sadness. There's her 12th house, the subconscious, the kind of isolated part of the chart, is activated by the sun right now. It's right on top of her Saturn. So that and her partner left today. So that would indicate a lot of sadness. Because Saturn will be the part of us that grieves, the part of us that feels loss and sadness. So that's definitely very strongly activated in her chart right now. And let's just see. Everything is coming. But it's also within a couple weeks, she's going to feel fantastic because it's going to cross her ascendant, and she'll be feeling like a new person, and also really excited about the changes. Like there's an electricity involved that will probably kind of infuse her life with a lot of energy and a lot of new ideas and new paths to take. So that's happening now. It's going to continue for the next few weeks, and then it'll hit into the first house, and then the sun will be in the first house, which is a great place for us to be who we really are when the sun goes through the first house, because it's who we are to the world. So that's very supportive to her becoming her new self in this unpartnered way. And then again, the work, like it's all about the work with Saturn. And Saturn is, again, aspecting going through her 10th house. So the part of her that's like probably a free spirit and very truthful and adventurous is all being kind of grounded down now. There's a requirement of growing up and of being grounded in kind of the world, in the real world. So it's bringing down the big hopes and dreams and making them real. That's possible right now. That's going on in her life. Again, but only through work. So all of us dreamers, and there's a lot of us, let me tell you, a lot of people who are very sensitive, light worker, spiritual type people who can heal and understand what's wrong and see things, we're all now called to work. Like now you can step into position. Now we can show everybody what we're doing without like any sort of ramifications, and also we can get recognition for our efforts. So any sort of effort you have towards your purpose on earth, kind of like your calling to the world, is highly rewarded right now. And Mars going through, again, Mars is traveling through the part of your chart where your philosophies, there's going to be a huge surge in your spiritual energy and your understanding of the cosmos and how you can use that in your daily life because of where Mars is traveling. So that's really good too. You're going to it's a lot of new understandings are coming in that are going to ground you and support you. And I'm wondering, she's got her 2nd house where Venus is, so that's where your self-worth is. Uranus is right on top of her Venus right now. So I'm wondering if the relationship suddenly ends. Like it was sudden. Like he's like, no, I'm going, or she was like, get out, or something happened where it was finally done. Okay. So it's probably very much done, I would say, this energy in the relationship, which is good because it was probably in some way affecting you being totally you. And we're all here to be totally ourselves, and we won't be happy until we are. So these planets come along and will kind of ground you in being yourself totally and fully. And if the relationship was in the way of that, then it has to go, because it's really impersonal, actually, because we're all here on our own journey, right? So if the relationship was in the way, then it's not going to stick. It won't work if you want to be really happy and really healthy and be who you are in the world. So I think it's lucky. What's going on with him is lucky. Also, do the work. There has to be some work. There's work you need to do, and you probably know what it is, and if you do it, you're going to be so well rewarded from it. Mm-hmm. How's that? Because I'm not talking to her again.
I think it's all good news for Katie.
I think so too. There's no doubt that there's probably feelings of grief and sadness right now because of
but it'll
what's
be
happening.
Short-lived.
Yes,
short-lived, right?
It will be. It'll move quickly. She'll probably feel better within the next few days. Even she'll be like, oh yeah, I can see why this is better, and she'll be able to breathe deeper and feel better.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
No problem.
I'm just wondering if we can keep it a little bit shorter, Hillory, because
I'll try.
So many people that want to talk to you, and I want to give as many as possible a chance to do that.
Yeah, maybe callers, if you've got one specific question that you need an answer for.
Okay.
That would be good.
Are you going to take a call, or should I go to the dashboard?
I'll take a call right now.
Okay.
I'll take a call right now.
I'll get ready to enter.
Okay, we've got... We have South Dakota, area code 605. If you could tell us your name, your date of birth, and your one question for Hillory, please. Hello?
Hi.
Hello? Hi, who are we speaking to?
My name is Roxana.
Hi, Roxana.
And my birth date is August 20th, 1955.
Okay. Just one second.
And I don't have my time of birth.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just do... It's not, the chart won't be as specific.
I understand.
But I should still be able to see, how all the planets are affecting you here.
So is there a specific
Do you have a specific question, Roxana?
Well, I've been very... I know there's a lot of changes coming my way in 2016, as well as I know a lot of people are feeling that. Mm-hmm. And I'm just, what you see for me. I'm looking at changing my career, possibly moving. What do you think?
Okay, just let me see here. I'm having my astro. Okay, sorry, I'm just having a bit of technical difficulties. So it's Roxana.
Well, are we surprised? I mean,
I was so prepared. I just hope that when they happen,
welcome to our
to our world.
I just hope that when they happen in Mercury's retrograde, everybody can just kind of chill about it instead of freaking out, which is impossible in a high stress situation, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so August. What was August
20th?
1955. 55, and we'll do. I'll give you midnight time, and you. And where were you? Where was the city you were born in?
Webster, South Dakota.
Webster. Okay. Is that SD? South Dakota?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Webster. There's a lot of Websters in. There it is. Okay. Mm-hmm. So here, we'll get the chart up. So you said you're going to be changing your job?
Yes.
Let me just look here. I don't have it fully up. Come on, Internet. Okay.
More like career. Something totally different.
You're changing what you're doing.
Yes.
Completely. Okay.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, okay. Have you ever seen your chart?
A long time ago, like in 2007.
Okay. So you have like it's all like concentrated. It's called a stellium, all into the 4th house. So the family, your family has been like everything probably, and your roots. Like you have your Venus, your Mars, your Sun, Pluto. That's a lot of 4th house planets. Do you experience it that way? Like your family being very important, your subconscious, your like roots?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've got 9 brothers and sisters. I have 2 children, granddaughter. Yeah.
So
very close.
So
very close to my children. Yeah.
Oh, good. How many children do you have?
3.
3, okay. Yeah, being a mother is obviously an important part of your role, and you're probably really good at it too. Like very efficient and like good at it, doing the mother stuff. So that's good that you've been doing that. So you've got just like there is a lot going on in your chart here. Let's see. So it's almost like, are you going to be switching like from kind of a home focus to an out in the world focus? Is that kind of the difference?
Well, I'm actually out in the world right now, and I was thinking more of a home business. But it will take me further out into expanding my world, basically, yeah. Right.
So, but being within your home will help. Okay, That's very interesting. So, because you're like, obviously, you're probably at your best in your house, like within your home, with all that planets there. So hopefully you have do you have a nice space for yourself, like an office space or something that you can set up in?
I have a very small apartment with only 1 bedroom, but of course my intention is to expand and possibly move.
Move into something bigger?
Yes, so I can have that.
Yeah, because you've got like there's luck. Your creativity is what you're going to be expanding into, like very creative. Are you going to be using creative skills?
I will. Yes, I would say yes.
Because there's a lot, like Jupiter is going to be traveling through that part of your chart. So it's not just creativity, but it's where we express our individuality. And you have your moon there. So being a mother is part of your individuality. Like it's very much a part of who you are in the world. But Jupiter going through there is like activating your identity and helping you to kind of really expand yourself, your influence of yourself in the world. So that's very fortunate if that's what you're considering doing, is starting a new business or whatever. Do you feel like you'll be very expressed as yourself in that business?
Oh, yes. I will be expressing my true self and my passion.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, there's no doubt that you should pursue that. Because this is like with the Neptune and Saturn energies this year, if you've got like an idea that needs to come down to earth, now is the year to do it. Like you'll be able to like carefully and diligently put in the work involved in realizing, because there's going to be work. Obviously, I'm sure you know that, but there's going to be all these little details that normally the creative self or the spiritual self has no use for. Like, for instance, time. It's like a little detail that the creative self or the spiritual self is like, no way, Jose, I have no interest in time. But Saturn is like, we're not going to make anything happen without putting in the time. So you have the bolstering support to do that right now. Just to put in the time and handle all the little details to bring yourself, like this greater self out into the world. So it's very fortunate for you, I would say, the way that's lined up. Let me just see. Also Mars is like it's activating your discipline. So you should be able to be quite. Have you noticed that you're feeling more like disciplined lately?
Yes. Yeah.
Or that you need to be more disciplined, or you might have just realized that, hey, wait a minute, if I was more disciplined, I would do this or whatever. So it's very like it's activating that for you, so you can like grab a hold of the part of you that needs to be disciplined to do what you need to do to get your business. Because you're the only person that would be in the way of your success, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does. Yes.
So, and you need to like shine your sunny Leo energy out to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I'm ready. I'm
ready. You should be. And you've got your Venus and Mars in Leo. Like, you're very sunny. And it's like the thing that might hold you back is sort of inner criticism, being too critical. And you got your moon and Mercury in Virgo. So you're like a caregiving server. But the part of that is you can see what's wrong with any situation, which is handy, but it can also just make you just not bother because it's too much. Everything's wrong with every situation all the time, right? There's always flaws to find. But your Leo energy is there's a full moon coming up on Saturday. I think it's Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you really should write down your intentions and your wishes and your plans for yourself on that full moon. It's very powerful for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you see love coming into my life?
Sorry?
Love coming into your life. You know, the way Saturn is kind of moving, it's very possible, actually. And if this love did come into your life, I would imagine it to be a very, like a Capricorn, someone like that, like a very stable, earthy person. A Virgo maybe even too. Somebody that's very earthy. Because you do have Venus in your 7th house. You're meant to be in relationship. You're meant to connect with others in relationship. So call it in. Call it in and open up
put
for that.
Put it on your wish list.
Yeah, put it on your wish list for this full moon.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
There you
go.
At
the top of my list.
Good. Put it in there. It definitely is. The magic can happen with the way things are aligned right now. So make sure you let the universe know exactly what you're trying to make happen.
I will. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Take care. Much luck.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Do we want to take one last one from the dashboard page, or?
Sure.
Time's just going so quickly.
I know.
I know, and there's just so many, and we're just like, maybe we'll just do one more.
Okay, I'm going to do Bridget from Austria.
Okay.
There's Bridget. And she just would like a little mini reading, so I'll see what's there. Oh, another Capricorn. I think that's like 3 Capricorns or something.
That's
a lot of
Capricorns.
Yeah. And Bridget is born on the 28th of December, so again, really close in Capricorn. Let's see what she's got. Ooh. So, she's in the middle of like major transformation because of her Sun and Mercury. Her Sun and her Venus are being transited by Pluto right now. So she's in the last, again, since about 2008, has probably gone through major transformations. And likely it's in her 12th house, so it could very likely have to do with like the deep spiritual part of herself is ready to come out into the open in some kind of service way. Like she's meant to work as a spiritual some kind of spiritual, maybe advisor or caregiver, maybe like hospice, because hospice would be a very spiritual position to be in when you're like helping people transition like that. So that's activated for her right now. And being who she is for the next 2 months is going to be very easy because of where the sun is in her chart. So she should really kind of get out there and shine who she is, which will be very good. And then Jupiter, other people's resources are very important. So Jupiter and the node are transiting into the 8th house where she has a lot of action. So she's probably either inherited money, or it can have to do with transformation and death and things like that too, like dealing with like legacies and inheritances, and there's a lot of action there, and also using other people's resources. So if there's a way, I would interpret this as a way to team up with other people is going to be very lucrative. If she could find her position and open up to teaming up, then she could really go far in the next year with what she's doing. And likely, again, it has something, I'm pretty sure it must have something to do with some sort of spiritual advising in some way. And hospice comes to mind as something that would work for that. Mm-hmm. But who's to say, because I'm not talking to her, so it's sort of winging it here. But I think,
and I'm not sure if she's on the webcast either.
Good. So you've given her some things to think about.
Yeah. She's got, as long as she teams up with people and like lets her inside out, and that's how she will like end up having a very lucrative year and doing the work, bringing down the dream into reality.
All right. Good.
Wow. So everyone, I'm so sorry we can't get to all of these questions. We have to honor everybody's time. But you have had an example and a sampling of how Hillory does a reading. And so if that's something that you're interested in, if you'd like to have more help from Hillory, you can do that by clicking on her special offer button, and she's offering a 1-hour session that will be recorded and sent to you for $179. She's going to help you get on the path and show you where, things could happen, Right. So,
personal transformation 2016, what an opportunity. So, Hillory, well, thank you very much for being uniquely you, as we always hope you are. Your essence and joy and gratitude, it's always so contagious. And
thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure.
We always want you could join us. We deeply appreciate you, and
we appreciate everything you do for us and our lives.
And I appreciate you guys too.
Yeah.
So nice to be able to connect with such a resonant audience. It's like
and you do. And your weekly forecast make people look for that. It's like a ritual, with coffee and astro forecast. And so we wanted to showcase you, and that's important, because you are important to us. And dear audience members, you're also important to us. And we want to thank you, but we always want to remind you, so to be more, love more, live more, and never settle for less, go beyond. Thank you always for joining us. Mm-hmm. Goodbye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care. Many blessings.
We truly hope you enjoyed today's presentation to assist you in going beyond.
Until next time, be more, love more, live more, and never settle for less.